Hi, beautiful people. Welcome to my channel. My name is Georgia, for those of you who are new. And to my regular subscribers, welcome back. In this video, we are going to do a recap and a review of Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 6, Episode 3, titled Hasta La Tisha Baby. I wonder who comes up with these titles. They do such a great job at it. They really do. All right, so we are picking up where we left off from episode 2, where we have Tisha and Keke at the kickboxing ring, and they're talking, they're trying to mend or come to some sort of truce as far as their friendship is concerned. And Latisha asks Keke, she said, "Why are you so angry, Keke?" And Keke said, "Because you took my best friend away." And Tisha was like, "What are you talking about, best?" She's like, you were my best friend. In my time of need, when I needed you the most, you stepped away from me. And I felt betrayed, I was hurt, and I felt abandoned. So Tisha told her, "Girl, I had to save myself because you were just not stopping." She said, "I was pregnant with you, and we had an argument in the front yard, and you told me, you and the baby." She said the word, you and the baby. And she said, "This is at the point where I realized that you needed help because you would never have spoken to me that way." She said, "That's why I took you on trips. I tried to be as close to you as possible. That's why I took you to rehab, to make sure that you were able to deal with the situation you were dealing with." And then she said, on top of that, you were coming in my house after my baby was born and I had my C-section, and you were actually taking my pain meds that I needed to, that was my medication to make sure that I was all right after giving birth. And she's like, "You were gone by then. And I needed to protect myself. That's why I backed away from you." And then Keke, she said it wasn't a proud moment in her life. She was at the point where she couldn't help herself and she needed help. And she apologized to Tisha. And Tisha apologized to her for, backing away. And then she's like, "All right, you know what? Let's not talk about it no more. Let's move forward. Let's not bring it up anymore. Let's have a truce." So they both agreed to a truce. And then Tisha invites Keke to a girls' event. I think she was planning something for a spa or whatever. She invited her to the event, and they get up to leave. And Keke was like, "Girl, let's hug." Tisha was like, "I don't know if I want to hug you, 'cause I don't trust you like that." Tisha is really she's protecting herself. She's making sure she's careful because this lady was spreading rumors out there, dropping hints about her husband and trying to break up her marriage. So she don't trust her. So she was like, "Give me a hug, let's hug." And Tisha was like, "I don't know if I want to help you." Is that she eventually hugged her and told her, "Girl, you better keep your word. If you say you're going to stop with the mess, stop with the mess." So that was that. Now we have Marsau, and he's at Black Cigar Lounge. And Marsau is meeting up with his dad, who's coming from Michigan to visit and just, touch base with his son, and I'm guessing his other children. They took a tour of the lounge. They sit down to smoke some cigars, and they talk about memories. One memory is where they talk about when Maurice was a kid and he wasn't allowed to, smoke or whatever. He tried to smoke by rolling up leaves and lighting it. Which kid haven't done this, especially if you've grown up in the country? Which kid have not done this? And they found it to be so funny because the dad still made him smoke it. I guess he felt it was safe, so he let him go ahead and smoke it, I guess, to teach him a lesson. So his dad, actually, Marsau's dad, actually came out and told him, "Son, I am so proud of you and where you're going. But," he says, "you're out here busy making a living and not making a life. I don't want you to blink, and before you know it, your kids are grown and your wife is graying and you haven't really enjoyed the fruits of your labor." But Marsau came in the confessional and talked about it. And he tells Marsau, he said, spend some of your time with your family." And Marsau is like, "It's not that I'm making a living, like I'm pursuing a passion, and I'm making sure that there's generational wealth for my family. the fact that it's unfortunate, or it's good that the things that he is actually focusing on, most of his businesses actually, circles around making sure that everybody else is good. As far as, he have the cigar lounge, and that's a place of entertainment where other people come, to have a night out or an evening out. So he's actually in the hospitality business to make sure that everybody else have a good time. And it so happens that no, he's working to see that that happens. And he's actually in real estate, also making sure that they're building that their projects are coming in on time. So he does have a lot on his shoulders going on. And if he's a smart man, which I know he is, he's not going to refuse work, because there was a point where it wasn't there. Remember, we all went through that period when there was things slow down for a bit. So now that things are picking back up and you are getting help and you're getting business, of course you're going to take it. So he's telling Marsau that, even God rested. Like, he said, what was he said? Something to the effect where, God is working and he even rests, but you, my son, don't even take a break. So he listened to what his dad had to say. And then we move on to the next scene. And we have Tisha and Kimmi meeting up in an area that Kimmi is unfamiliar with. And when she comes in, she said to Tisha, damn, it's quiet in here. Why are we meeting way out in, I believe it's North Huntsville? She's like, so Tisha, meeting for coffee. So Tisha says, I lost my office. She said that Marsau put somebody in her office and she needs to find someplace quiet to work. So therefore, that's why she's way out here. She have a couple of meetings today, so she's just actually using the coffee shop as her business place. So Kimmi was surprised at the fact that, Tisha lost her. She's like, how'd that happen? Tisha told her she came one day and their friend, their business partner, I believe his name is Gino, was in her office and had up his degree on the wall, and she wasn't even allowed to put up her degrees on the wall. Yet this man comes in and he's able to do that. And she's talking to Kimmi because she says she needs somebody who she could talk to that actually understand the Scotsman. So Kimmi gave her some advice. She says your approach and your timing has to be mapped out in order to get what you want from these men. She's like, sometimes you have to couple your words. Instead of saying you can't do that, you shouldn't do that, let's do this, she's like, you probably have to say, well, my take on the situation is, and I believe the situation is. So she's giving Tisha some tips of how to approach Marsau when she speaks to him. And she says sometimes you probably need to have the conversation with them after a session. And ladies, you know what a session means. And Tisha's like, yes, most of the time that's when we get what we want. So she has to consider when she's actually going to talk to Marsau about putting someone in her office without even speaking to her. She was blindsided. She just came in one day and this man was in her space. So she wanted, I don't think she wanted to actually meet Kimmi on advice of how to talk to Marsau about it. I just think she wanted to vent to somebody who would actually understand what is going on. So while she was there sitting and talking to Kimmi and Tisha, Melody calls. She calls Kimmi. And Melody's calling because she wants to plan an event and she wants to know the stage, how strong Kimmi is, if she's able to handle a massage. And Kimmi was like, yeah, I'm sure. So while Kimmi is talking to Melody, Tisha's like, can I speak to her? All you saw is production zooming on Kimmy's face and her eyes got big like saucers. You could see the nervousness on Kimmi's whole demeanor because she knows that these two ladies are not in a good space based on what happened at the reunion. She knows they haven't talked to each other or anything. So Kimmi was like, oh my God, no, I don't want to. But she's like, all right. And she gives the phone to Tisha, and Tisha asks Mel, are you there? Can you hear me? long story short, she invites Mel to the same event she invited Keke to. She wants to have a girl to get together, girls event. And Melody agreed to come. So when she gives back the phone to Kimmi, now Kimmi looks so relieved, like, oh, whew, thank God. She said, because if thing goes left in this place, this quiet coffee shop, I don't want no argument to bust off over the phone in here. So that was a good exchange between the two. And then Kimmi and Tisha kept talking. She hadn't invited Kimmi yet. So now after she got off the phone with Mel, she invited Kimmi to the event as well. And they planned to actually just meet up for the event. So there we left Kimmi and Tisha at the coffee shop. Now we have Latisha and Marsau at home. And he's taking the advice of his dad. He said he's trying to take the advice of his dad. And he's been talking about that for, this is not the first we've heard where Marsau says that, he feels the pressure of having to provide and protect for the family. But he's still trying to take the advice of his dad. I remember he picked up and went all the way to Africa because he felt like he said that the pressures were coming down on him. He needed a break. So now he's trying to do it in more increments, that he's saying. So he's spending the evening at home with Tisha and the kids. He's teaching his kids how to play chess. And then they're having dinner as a family. So we see them sit around the dining table and they're talking about, the chess game. How did it go? He's like, they need a little bit more lessons and they should be good. Then Marsau changed the whole mood at the table by saying to the kids, don't you miss your mom's cooking? Don't you wish she was here more? Don't you wish that she was around more? But no, she's working. And shout out to the kids for having their mom's back. So one of the kids said, I think it was MJ, who said, so what about you? Why aren't you here more? And then we hear Mila say, the tables have turned. I think they all turned on Marsau as if to say, leave my mama alone. Marsau couldn't believe that MJ took the side of his mom. And Tisha said to him, listen, you cannot come between the bond of a boy and his mom. So they joked about that for a little while. Then the kids excused themselves. And Marsau and Tisha got into a more serious conversation. But before we move on to the serious conversation, I must say they must not have known that they were going to do the clip at the table, because why on earth did we not have our product placement behind Tisha? Why is it I'm seeing bottles from every other company except chocolate in a bottle? I'm like, we see Mel, every scene she's in, to take the opportunity to push her product. She pushed her clothing line. She pushed her skincare line, or whatever else she's working on. Why aren't you guys taking the opportunity as well? So I'm going to chalk that one up to just being an error and them not knowing that the camera was going to be at them at that point. And if not, going forward, guys, I need you to have that bottle in every shot, okay? Make sure that you're promoting. Always be ABC, always be closing. Yeah, that's your closing, by putting the bottle right behind you in every scene and every shot. But Tisha did make up for that when they had the girls' spa. She met all the girls at the door with a glass of champagne, and she made sure that she said, here's a glass of chocolate in a bottle for you. So yeah, she did that with her promoting. All right, back to Marsau and Tisha having a conversation. I guess she didn't take Kimmi's advice all the way, because she didn't do it after a session. Well, you wouldn't have cameras in there after a session anyway. But she brought it up at the table. She said, don't try to shade me in front of the kids, because it's harder for me balancing, me working and being in the house as it is. So as we know, we all deal with mom guilt at some point in life. And, you don't need nobody else telling you, what you're doing wrong. So she tell Marsau, don't shade me in front of the kids. I don't like that. And she said, you wouldn't understand because you're a woman. And he said, no, you won't understand because you're not a man. He says, do you know how hard it is to feel the weight of the world on your shoulders? Like it's just cold closing in and it's constantly there, having to be the person of protection and provision. He's like, it's not easy and it doesn't go away. So she's like, okay, well, since we're on the subject, let's talk about it. He's like, why didn't you tell me that you were gonna put what's his name? Gino. Weren't you gonna why didn't you tell me you were gonna put Gino in my office? She said, you claim that you've told me, but I'm telling you right now you did not. And they went back and forth for a little while. He came up with the analogy that something about Tom Brady and the owners of the Patriots, whatever team Tom Brady plays for, that the owner on the team don't know everybody that's in his building, and that's why he put people in place that that will take care of it and everything should be fine. So he asked Tisha, he's like, so you're telling me that as the owner of Scope that you should know everything that's going on? And she said yes, which I think is right because the company is not that big, whereas she should know what everything that's going on. He's like, well, you're the owner, I'm the president. You put me in a role, you put me in a situation to take care of a situation. Why don't you just play your role? And that's another way of digging at her, which Marsau, I think you're wrong for that because you could see it shook her confidence a little bit. You saw it on camera and you know how to use your words to cut people down. And you're starting that mess all over again, like you're from the other side of the tracks and stuff like that. Don't talk to her that way. She is your partner in business. You're seeming to do things without including her, and it's not right to her. She's the one who actually, as she said, she's the one actually saved the business and put it back on track, and now you're treating her as if she doesn't matter. And that's not cool. And yes, putting the man in her office without talking to her about it ahead of time is treating her like she doesn't matter. And you actually doubled down and said it towards the end where you said to her, I put him in there, but because there was no commerce coming out of that office. So in another word, you're telling her that she's not productive. The office spaces there is not productive. I don't think she would have mind you putting Gino in her office. She just wanted you to run it by her first, give her the reasons why, and let her know that pretty soon you'll have another space for her, like she told Kimmi you were working on it for her. So I'm guessing you own like a little strip mall, and she said at the end building you're gonna make an office for her at that end. All she wanted was a little communication. And you claim that you communicated to her that you were putting the man in the office, and she told you straight up, no, you did not. So finally, they went back and forth till eventually Marsau apologized. He apologized. He said he got a lot on his plate because right now they're working on their home, Scott Manor. They're building an assisted living facility. They're working on a hotel and warehouse, and they're actually building a dermatology office. My question is, why is Martel not involved in any of those? Because if he was, he wouldn't be over here running behind Mel and trying to figure out where she's doing, what she's doing, and who she's doing it with. Martel, go and get your builder's license and get back in with your business partners and get stuff going. So now we have it where they're in the confessional, and we have Tisha using words like sabotage and stole, and that's what Marsau's like, where these words coming from? Why are you using words like that with me? I sabotaged you, I stole your offices. Like, come on now, stop it. So that's where we leave him and Tisha with the talk. I'm enjoying this season so far. I don't know why people saying that ratings are dropping, but I'm enjoying it. I think the focus is coming off of what's going on with Melody and Martel, and now we're seeing everything that's going on with all the couples. Whereas we still have Kimmi dealing with her situation. We see Tisha stepping up even more as a boss. I told y'all that girl was a boss. She's stepping up even more and she's speaking out even more. Do not let this man push you back in the house, Tisha. You are out. You need to stay out. The kids are fine with it. They're getting older every day and they'll get used to it and start doing things for themselves, girl. Do what you got to do for you and your family. So, and you see Marsau, you see Tisha stepping out to try and help you to alleviate all that pressure that you feel on you. So allow her to do it. Allow her to do it. So now we leave Tisha and Marsau there, and we have Tisha having her event at the spa. I don't know what it is about all these reality shows recently that I've been watching, but every one of them throughout the season, there is either 2 to 5 charcuterie boards. I'm like, oh my gosh. Every time I open an episode on any of these reality shows, the charcuterie board is there. Is that a thing now with entertainment? I know it's been out there a while, but why must we focus on it so much? They're actually saying here we have a charcuterie board. Why can't we have a fruit plate? Why can't we have a veggie plate? But I know the charcuterie board comes with the crusty bread, the fruits, the cheese, like everything on the same. So it's a mixture of everything. But okay, I'm just tired of seeing them. We see Kimmi come in, then we see Stormy, and then we see Tiffany. So as they're coming in, Tisha is handing them a bottle of champagne, of chocolate in a bottle. And then when there was enough people there, she let them know that she has monogram robes and socks for everybody. And they're going to change, and then, they're going to come together and go and do the events. So we see Keke arrives, and of course the mood in the room has changed a little bit amongst the ladies, because I think they haven't seen Keke since the reunion after her being at the Mel's Christmas party and everything went down. So we have Miss Messy Boots. I'm still going, Tiffany, I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt. But you're back to your antics. We have Miss Messy Boots. She puts one of the socks on her hand, and she's like, wouldn't this make a nice sock puppet? And it didn't fly over their heads. Everybody knew exactly what she was trying to do, because as you remember at the reunion, we had Tisha make the puppet of Melody and Keke, and saying that Keke was Melody's puppet. So that's what she was insinuating to. So Tisha tell her, girl, you better calm down or you're going to get kicked out of here. I'm like, I like that. That's right, Tisha. You put a stop to that. We don't want no mess. We don't want no instigation going on here. So by then, Melody had not arrived. And Kimmi went in the confessional and was like, Tiffany's so effing messy. Why would you bring stuff up like that right now? She's like, I'm so happy that that Melody is not here, because that wouldn't fly right now. So they did that. So Tiffany chilled. Then we had Melody come in and meet everybody. And then, they caught up to where all the other ladies were, and then they decided to. It's 6 of them total. So the spa lady told them that we're going to split the group. Some of you are going to go in here. We're going to do the soundboard. And the other 3, you're going to go do chair massages. So in one room, we had Melody, Tiffany, Stormy. And in the other room, we had Keke, Tisha, and Kimmi. How could I forget? And Kimmi. So, all right. They start off, they're doing their activities or whatever. And then here comes Miss Messy Boots yet again, trying to get Mel all riled up. She's like, I'm surprised to see Keke here. This is Tiffany talking. She's like, I'm surprised to see Keke here, because based on what happened the last time, I didn't think y'all got along. And I'm not even sure. I don't like the way that she was talking about her own cousin, because that's family. And if she does that to family, she's going to do it to anybody else. So Mel was like, what I'm liking is the peace and the relaxation of this room. I'm liking the fragrance, and I'm liking that little blue light over there. And you could see the confusion on Tiffany's face. She's looking all around the room. She's making eye contact with Stormy. Stormy's making a smirk on her face, shrugging her shoulder like, girl, don't even try it. Then Stormy went in the confessional, and she's like, yeah, Keke, Tiffany's trying to get Mel all riled up, and Mel is not about to have it. She's like, I'm just enjoying the peace of the room. And she's like, anybody could see that Mel is not here for me, so you might as well give it up, Tiffany. So, all right, they cut the scene right there. Production is also shady in this scene. We see where production cut the scene right there real quick, and then they swipe it over to Kimmi saying, well, I heard I heard that you and Tisha made up, Keke. So the fact that the way they did it was hilarious to me. I don't know if you guys saw that too, but I found that to be hilarious. And I'm like, okay, we go from a calm space to a vibrant space, I should say. Let's use that word. Let's use the word vibrant. So Keke was like, yeah, girl, we talked about it, but I still got beef with you. So here comes Keke with the mess. Keke was like, even though everything went down at Melody's house, I feel that you didn't help the situation by going back to Tisha. I feel like you instigated the situation. So Kimmi was like, oh, really? Tell me how. And then she said what she had to say. And Kimmi was like, so even though everybody in that room told you that you messed up, you felt that you were in the right? And Keke was like, yup, yes, I still feel like I didn't do anything wrong. And Kimmi was like, well, I don't know what to tell you, girl. And Kimmi was like, so how is it you didn't talk about what Stormy said? Why you didn't go back to Tisha with what Stormy said? And Kimmi was like, but I actually did. Didn't I, Tisha? And Tisha was like, I honestly don't remember, but I do remember you coming back, you talking about everything, most of the things that Keke was saying to me. And then Tisha was like, why are we bringing this back up now? And Keke was like, because I never really spoke to her about it. So therefore, I want to talk about it now. So, all right. So the ladies were in the other room. And of course, the walls are paper thin in this place. It's not like you have brick walls. It's probably separated by some cardboard or something to separate the rooms. So the ladies in the other room are hearing the conversation between Kimmi and Keke. So Stormy heard her name and she's like, wait a minute, I heard my name. So Mel was like, or Stormy, one of them, I don't know who said it, was like, well, let's go over there, go see what's going on. Like, come on, Tiffany. Come on, Tiffany. So Tiffany gathered herself and brought herself over there. And it was like, how's it going over here, guys? How's everything going? And Stormy was like, well, let me know about Stormy. Let me know more about Stormy. And she comes in and she sits down. So Keke was like, okay, I really plan on relaxing today, but since everybody's here, let's just address everything. And she was like, I'm going to start with you, Tiffany. I'm hearing that you didn't like what I had to say or, what happened at the party. She's like, yeah, I said it. She's like, but you weren't even in the room. And Tiffany was like, I didn't claim I was in the room, but I didn't have to be in the room to know that, you're supposed to be treating your family better than you did. You're not supposed to be talking about them behind the back. Kimmi was like, girl, you need to be quiet because you don't know nothing about the situation. She's like, she's my first cousin. I love her to death. I have first. And Tiffany was like, I don't have cousins. I grew up by myself, so I don't know what the situation is like, but I do know that you shouldn't be talking about your family member like that. And that is where the episode ended, girl. That is where the episode ended. We had Stormy with this look on her. She was biting her lip like she ready to say something to Keke. So I guess we're going to have to wait till next episode to see what Stormy says to Keke. Well, Keke's about to take on 3 ladies in that room because Melody is sitting there with, ain't nobody going to disturb my peace. We have Tisha lounging on the chair like, ain't nobody about to disturb my peace. So I think Kimmi is going to have to fight this one out. I believe that Kimmi is going to have to come to Keke's aid at this point because as we all know, Kimmi cannot help herself. She always ends up in the middle and she always have to be the one to neutralize the situation. But Stormy is ready. You could see it. She's ready for Keke. So next week we're going to see what happens. So it seems that the ladies are trying to get back their peace. They're coming back together. And we're going to see more of the business side of Marsau and Tisha this season. So it should be a really, really good season. This episode was good, episode 3. So like I said, I'm looking forward to the rest of the episodes, the rest of the seasons. And we're going to see how it plays out for Mel this season. I believe I saw an interview where someone asked her, because they're done filming. Someone asked her, how was this season for you? And she said, peaceful. It was peaceful, because these past seasons she's been going through it. So she's due a peaceful season. So that's where we have it, guys. So thank you for watching / listening to my review of Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 3, titled Hasta LaTisha Baby. Until next time, guys, be sure to take care of yourselves and your families. Bye-bye.